I want video games to look like themselves again. I'm not trying to imply that games don't look good these days. I think there are plenty of video games that have inspired, interesting, really cool art designs. What I'm talking about are microtransactions as they exist in games and ways to include them without sacrificing the art design, the shared vision, the central focus of a game's visual approach. And obviously I'm wearing a Siege X lawn sleeve, so I'm sure you can imagine what this video is going to talk about to varying degrees. I want to start with my favorite game, Rainbow Six Siege. Siege has been grappling with this topic for a considerable amount of time. The Pizza Mozzie skin, I think that was around 2020, 2019, was kind of the start of this big schism, and it's been an argument ever since. It's been an argument every single time Siege has done something collaborative with another license, another property like Rick and Morty, Nier Automata, The Boys, right? People love these skins. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selling. And people also hate them. And in the past, I was willing to kind of let it go. I was willing to say, all right, it's not really for me, but they need money to keep working on the game, to keep making content. I get that. Now I'm turning 30 in 8 months. I've canceled all of my streaming services except for YouTube Premium, I guess if you want to call it that. I've canceled my Spotify subscription. I have a VPN. I think a lot differently about my consumption habits and my relationship with my money. Being broke and pushing 30 gives you a moment to kind of think about what you value, especially when you go to other people's house parties that you get invited to and you realize that you don't really have a lot to decorate your place with, but then you see how other people decorate their places and there's no branding anywhere. People are bringing back contact paper, backsplashes, framed pictures with your friends and your family, right? All the things that my generation made fun of our parents for being kind of old and fussy and fuddy and dry. Now we're doing that. And obviously the meme of everybody turns into their parents one day is kind of ringing true in certain respects here. But after a while, I realized that my problem with the skins in a lot of these video games isn't anything to do necessarily with the quality of the skin. I'm not going to lose sleep over the kind of orange guy in Battlefield 6. I'm not going to lose sleep over the Elvis outfit in the finals. But I started to realize what bugged me every time I saw Homelander in my game, or every time I saw Pickle Rick in my game. It wasn't because there was a guy in a rat suit. Why are all these other fucking properties in my thing? I'm in this experience, and I'm being reminded of another one in the middle of this one. That's where I'm getting frustrated. The nature of consumption in 2026 and the media landscape that we have basically is one where it constantly reminds you all the time that there is something out there that you could be doing right now. You could be watching this show. You could plan to watch this show later. Your friend watches this show. They like this show. The guy who just fried you on an angle at the top of red stairs watches this show. Basically, the success of Fortnite as a business, more than a game at this point, has forced everything to treat themselves like a retail store. It's forced themselves to become walking advertisements, to become interactive advertisements. And it wasn't always this way. There was a point at which games felt confident about their own art style. They felt confident about their own ability to market themselves. Rainbow Six as a property used to be this way. Call of Duty used to be this way, for crying out loud. There's a balance to all of this. There's a way to do it. This is one of my favorite Siege fits. You know why? Because it's very Division-y. It's very baseball cap. It's very operator name with a name tag. It's very operator unit on her jacket. Nomad looks like she's doing something important. It looks like she's a character in a game for adults. The Black Ice skin is okay to me because it's mine. If anybody else is looking directly at me just to look at my skin, they have to be up pretty freaking close. Most of the engagements are at least from 8 meters away. It's for the same reason that a colorful skin in Counter-Strike doesn't look too visually obstructive. You still see the guy with the gas mask, you still see the guy with the balaclava. But unless you get really close to them, and unless you pick up the gun yourself, you're probably never gonna see the skin. So instead, the gun skin kind of becomes a reflection of the player's tastes and the player's artistic consumption habits. The skin doesn't really say, look at me, right? Unless somebody else is spectating their point of view. And I'm gonna call myself out on this, okay? When I put on this skin, right, from another property, that's a good looking, competent looking skin, it says, look at me. And I guess that's fine. I guess somebody has the right to do that if they want. But the older I get, the more of a distaste I have for it. And the more I start to look at it and I'm like, why did I buy this? I haven't even finished the game. I got filtered by the training mission because my stupid ass wanted to play the intro on the hardest difficulty. You know, I got it because it looked cool, but like, do I appreciate the art? I can't really say that because I haven't even played the freaking game. This Habana Elite is fine, right? Like, she doesn't have to be wearing a plate carrier. This looks like she's doing an undercover job and then shit got hot and then she had to get out the gat. Like, it's cool. It's all right. Like, I think there's ways to do this with these kinds of games. But this, you know, to me, like, this is just not it, especially with the price tag. Like, I'm sorry. It's not for me. Like, this looks like something she would actually... Sorry, I got a little distracted. This looks like something she would actually wear. The esports skins, you know, like, I want to support the players. You know, how much of this revenue even goes to the players anyway? I don't fucking know. Ooh, Onslaught. I mean, like, dude. Are we 12? Are we 12 years old? I'm thinking about this shit now, you know? Like, I think about stuff like this more than I did when I was, like, 20. And I'm sorry that I'm changing my mind now, 8 years later. I'm just, like, again, if it's a gun skin, it's fine, right? Because you're the only one who's really gonna see it. Here we go again, you know? Like, here's another one. Hey, remember the Borderlands guy? Like, it doesn't come off to me as confident. It comes off to me as like, fuck, we need to take as many brand deals as we can. This doesn't speak brand confidence to me. A lot of people will say that I'm being a hypocrite, right? Because I pointed out Rainbow Six Siege and I'm being too hard on it and this and that. Here's the thing. The finals advertises itself as a virtual game show. So even the wackiest shit that you see, like Football Man and, you know, skins like this, right? These Valentine's Day kind of inspired skins. This all exists within the context of the game's world. You can say that I don't like the design and it's not for me, but at least the finals isn't trying to be something that it isn't. It's just doing what it says on the tin. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that is supposedly supposed to be a training exercise among a bunch of operators. Is Homelander an operator? No, this is a retail store. You know, and I can talk about how microtransactions are, you know, they make games into storefronts and yada, 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 the yakety yak capitalism. But at least with this game, the artists at Embark are doing something that they want to do. I don't know how many people, you know, I don't know how many middle managers or bosses were involved in the creation of a roulette wheel Lewis gun skin. I don't know. I don't work at Embark. But I'm willing to bet that an artist, you know, came up to somebody and said, hey, I have a really cool idea for a skin. And that still means something, right? Even if there's a price tag attached to it. It still means more than what a lot of these games do, where they just sort of like try to get as many different angles of pop culture crap as they can to make it feel relevant, to make it like feel alive, to signal that there's something here. Let's make a direct comparison to Counter-Strike, right? The granddaddy of all attack shooters. Without this game, Rainbow Six Siege wouldn't have existed. This game has a lot of flashy colors. Hey, I mean, like, I have a lot of flashy colors. I'm thinking of selling these flashy colors so that I can get some other form of flashy colors. All this value exists within the Counter-Strike marketplace, right? Within the Steam ecosystem. And Valve kind of famously tried to go with the camo stuff and thought that this was going to be the more rare, the more valuable of their skin market. And then it actually ended up being, you know, skins like this. But Valve still has, operator skins. They call them agents within the context of the game that exist within the context of Counter-Strike, right? Like they're Counter-Strike-y people. I don't really know how else to describe it. Is their lore kind of shit? Yeah. Does anybody care about the lore? No, right? They just see on the tin, cool operator man, and they just go with it. Now, we got rid of a lot of cool designs as a result of implementing the system when we went from Go to CS2, and a lot of people are kind of disappointed with that. I am a little bit too. But at the end of the day, this is still, in my opinion, the best compromise for a game like Counter-Strike. This guy is worth $171, and it's just a guy in a ski mask or in a hockey mask with a Hawaiian shirt. And it's a cool design, right? This isn't complicated. Here, SEAL guy with diving goggles. Here's our favorite, right? Here's Rook, GIGN. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. Brazil Tac Boy. You can do this. You can do this. It's possible. It's achievable. But we're not doing it because we don't have a reason to anymore. This broad. Oh, I'm throwing a grenade there, bud. Rainbow Six Siege existing as an esport does not cordon it off. It's never cordoned it off from being able to be its own thing, to be its own confident thing. We're basically like the counterterrorism Olympics. I know that we shit-canned that angle because it wasn't really good from a story writing perspective long ago, but there's ways to embrace that feel. There's ways to embrace that, as live-pilled as it is, kind of mission statement without doing what we've been doing. It's too late. I'm not going to change it by complaining about it, but I think there's a reason that people are kind of getting exhausted with it. When people talk to me about whether or not they want to get back into Rainbow Six Siege, they often tell me no, because they saw an ad for a weird, goofy-looking Call of Duty skin with a bunch of crazy animations, and they said, wow, this looks really whack. And this isn't from, people who hate military gun shoot bang stuff. All my trans girl friends who shoot firearms competitively and who've probably watched every series of Gundam that you can think of don't like this stuff either. Politics have nothing to do with it. Whether or not, you're not a fan of the military aesthetic, right, in terms of how it's kind of correlated with marketing and blah, blah, blah. That's not the issue. The issue is whether or not something appears to take itself seriously. And if you can't take yourself seriously, why should I take you seriously? Remember High Guard? Remember this?
Get ready in there. We're coming in.
I don't care how good the gunplay is. Evidently, not a lot of people cared either. And some people will say, well, see, you just defeated your own argument. No, I didn't. Okay? First impressions mean everything in this business. When I see that you couldn't be fucked to come up with a coherent art direction, what does that say about the rest of your game? In a creative landscape, people make first impressions off of your creative direction, dude. That's how this works. Technically speaking, Deadlock isn't even really out yet, and it's already getting 100,000 concurrent on Steam. And it has no microtransactions yet. I'm sure that there's going to be some later. It had a unique art direction that they decided to take a gamble on, and it's paid off. This is so much cooler than whatever they were going to do with Neon Prime. What if Halloween was real in New York City in the 50s? That's fucking awesome. That's sick. People appreciate this. People appreciate when a game tries to do something unto itself. It signals confidence. It says that it's interested in something besides being a store. And I think that matters. I think that Rainbow Six Siege had the potential to do that. I still think that at any day, somebody could come in and say, we're totally changing direction here. It's possible. But as it stands now, I understand why somebody would look at a game like Rainbow Six Siege and they'd be like, this doesn't seem to take itself very seriously, because it doesn't. And I think anybody who believes that that didn't play a hand in the game's decline in popularity recently is really naive. I love the game, but I'm not going to tell you a lie. Thanks for watching. Deuces.